Hey folks, it's Walter on Friday night. It's 18th now. It was actually it's Saturday morning. First off, I'm just going to mention happy birthday to David Tennant. He turns 44 today. I got a bunch of stories I do want to mention, but there was something I was going to mention yesterday. I totally forgot about it. So tonight I'm going to mention. It was funny. You know what? I learned the hard way not to put your hand into a shitter even though it looks clean. This is no joke. I was at work and one of the shitters, it was a universal one, or universal. It was for males or females, universal. I love that one. It even make myself laugh. And it was shoved with paper. I was like, dude, I got to take a fucking piss right now. So it was like I looked at it. It was just white paper. The water looked clean. So I was like, okay, I'm going to put my one hand in there and carefully try to move out the paper, because sometimes that obviously works. The paper just gets stuck. And lo and behold, underneath, there was a little bit of a surprise. It was shit. And it was like, holy fucking Christ. Shit. I was so pissed off. I'm trying not to use God's name in vain, so I apologize about that. But yeah, that was just, it was crazy. And, it was like, okay, and I was washing my hands for like a couple hours afterwards. It was just driving me crazy. Because I have OCD, and that did not help it. My OCD is not that bad as it used to be. But putting your hand into barely, even if I didn't touch it, was in the same water, a pile of shit, it was not really fun. And I talk about not being fun. Tonight was a horrible night for me at work. Actually, it wasn't that bad, but as the night progressed, I always check my email late at night because I'm the only one who works at my job on it's 3 shifts, first, second, and third. I'm the only person on second shift. And it was like everything seemed pretty mellow today. I was kind of surprised. Wasn't no hidden surprises. The normal childish behavior went on, but not as bad. Nothing I couldn't tolerate. And lo and behold, though, what happens is I check my email, and I've been having this problem because I fall under the Disabilities Act. For certain reasons, having certain restrictions, and they're really frivolous restrictions. My restrictions basically state Walter can only do one task at a time. The tasks don't have to be remedial. I can't say that word correctly. Remedial. Well, maybe you don't know what I mean. Basically, it doesn't have to be real simple tasks. But just don't overwork me kind of deal. Well, that's what everybody should have, though, not just me. So, and the supervisors I have are really cool about it. They don't have a complaint about it. In fact, they just accept it. I even told I got to go to a place called Health Services on my job, basically the nurse's station. And I said to her, this lady, keep the name anonymous, and I said to her, hey, listen, you know what? The bosses are fine with my restrictions. They don't need paperwork that say that. And she keeps on insisting, oh, no, you need this paperwork. Without the paperwork, you can't work here. It was like, yeah, but they don't have a problem. I don't speak to you on a daily basis. I speak to my supervisors, and they're fine with it. So, no, we can't do that because that's against the company's policy. It was like, this is a policy you just made just to filter out people like me who have certain restrictions. So anyway, I just went off on that. I go and check my email, and it said every single day this has been going on, by the way. Every single day. Today, though, they stated that, you had an appointment at 4 o'clock. I start my shift at 4, and I missed it again. Well, I was there yesterday, and I asked them, and I asked my boss, because they never email my boss. They usually do. I have 4 different bosses. They usually email one of them. Did they email the boss about, hey, Walter needs to go up to Health Services? No, they didn't. So I missed the one accidentally the first time around, and I called right away, and I said, listen, I missed my appointment. Can I reschedule it? Sure. That was on Tuesday. So Wednesday I go up there. I try to get an appointment. I come in early. I actually went to work an hour early, headed up there, was there right on time, and the person who was supposed to see me couldn't see me, so somebody else did. And they told me, I asked them, do I need to come back? No, at this point, you don't have to come back. Everything looks like it's in correct order. So I go to work. Nothing said. Thursday, I get this this notice on my email. Pops up on Microsoft, and it says, oh, you have a 4 o'clock appointment that you missed. It was like, okay, I was there Wednesday. You told me I have no more appointments. Everything should be fine. They never notified my supervisor, which they're supposed to do. And it was a disaster. So then I went up on Thursday, and the paperwork wasn't in order, they said, and stuff. So I said, that's fine. I looked up the paperwork. It was supposed to be faxed to me from my family doctor. He said the fax went through. They're claiming it didn't. So I go up there on Thursday, and I said, here's the paperwork you were requesting that was faxed to you, but you miraculously lost it. And they said, yeah, everything's fine again. Don't worry about it. You shouldn't have to hear from us for a while now. So Thursday, I go up there and I go back, and they said, you had a doctor's appointment today at 4 o'clock, or a health services appointment at 4 o'clock. I was like, yeah, I was just there. So somewhere they forget what they're doing after a while. They don't notify the supervisor anymore, which they really should do, to let him know, hey, Walter, you need to go back over there. Because that happened before, and he did. They called the supervisor. They got me to come back over, and I did. So then today at 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., I go online to check my email. I get this notification. Yeah, you missed your appointment again? Yeah, you missed your appointment. So, okay, this is like, again, they're not relaying the message to the supervisor. They're definitely not relaying the message to me. And they're posting this stuff hours after, I'm there. They wait to the last minute to say, oh, yeah, you're supposed to be up here at 4 o'clock. Like, probably, last minute, though. And it's like, I'm never going to get a hold of this stuff unless you're more clear and concise and not tell me a few minutes before the appointment's due, because I need to tell my supervisor and all. So the bottom line is, it just made me so angry. I called my parents about it, and I said to them, what's a good lawyer I can talk to? So I didn't get a hold of, but I did leave a voicemail to two different lawyers who actually do work on cases pertaining to people with restrictions such as mine, which would be under the Disabilities Act. So you know what? If they want to play games, I hate to say it, I'll play games, and I'll play hardball. So that was the start of my weekend, so that did not make me happy. I just needed to get that off my chest, and I decided the slogan of my show is going to be basically about a show about nothing. So I got that from Seinfeld, but it actually works, because most of the stuff I talk about is complete nonsense most of the time, if not all the time. So, excuse me, that would be perfect. Anyway, I am just going to kind of glance through these articles, let you know. If you're interested, you can definitely check them out. I will give you name the link. And the one I'm going to read now is by IJ Review, and it says ISIS sex slave survivor reveals the severely cruel way jihadists pick and choose their women. There's an article. Doesn't give you much detail, like 3 pictures and a couple tweets, it looks like. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, and the thing is, unfortunately, there's a lot of Americans that think that we're being too harsh on ISIS and these jihadists, but these people are obviously animals. It talks about in this article briefly about it. Not like, I guess it was maybe one case in particular where a 9-year-old, if she would have to give birth, she was raped like 10 times by 10 different guys, jihadists, that she would probably die in the birth process. It says, it states here, a doctor in charge of treating survivors of the Duhawk said at least 70 to 105 female survivors she had treated appeared to have been raped while being held hostage by the extremist group. So I said I was going to stop reading stories because I really screw them up. But yeah, there was an article. It states, I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to torture people. George Lucas thinks Marvel will do a Howard the Duck remake. Well, you know what? I honestly would not be surprised, because if any of you guys, probably everyone did, who went and seen Guardians of the Galaxy, there was, after the credits, I guess, halfway through the credits, there was that, you always should sit through credits anymore, because there's always, an extra scene they put in there. I don't know if it's considered an Easter egg, probably not. But they did show Howard the Duck. So what's that telling you? Yeah, there was definitely the potential of them making another Howard the Duck movie. Obviously based upon the graphic novel, the comic book. So I wouldn't be surprised. And a friend wrote and he says, yeah, another bad movie on Howard the Duck. Well, I hate to tell you, the first one was horrible. I think a remake would probably be a lot better. So, and anyway, I don't know if you guys caught that, though, if anybody's listening besides me. They did officially release that Batman versus Superman. I guess it got so widely spread out there that I guess I might as well just pick that one up now. Warner Brothers were left reeling after the first trailer for Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice leaked online last night. And it was last night. So, Zack Snyder has taken to Twitter to release the official HD version of this epic tease, which was supposed to be attached to the Mad Max movie, which I really didn't want to see the movie, so I got to see the teaser. I told a friend, after watching, a clear copy of that teaser, it definitely sent chills down my back. I thought it looks really good. That's just me, though. Yeah, highly anticipated in 2016 movie. What you're waiting for, check it out. And it just goes on. It's a small article, but you know what? There's like a plethora of articles now out because, the cat was out of the bag, I guess. So, Zack Snyder said, you know what? I'll just release it. And I'm glad he did. I really am. I thought it looked really good. Hey, I got to read this because this is up right now. It was my next story after that. There's been some stuff about Selena Gomez, and there was some article. This was on RyanSeacrest.com. The other one was comicbook.com. I apologize. I forgot to mention that. But it says Selena Gomez responds to the mean comments with the bikini pics. She states there's more to love. I don't think she looks that bad. She does look like she put a little bit of weight. They're basically referring to that after she is no longer dating Justin Bieber, that I guess she started packing on some pounds, and it's not that much. Trust me, I've seen a lot worse. If anything, I think she looks better. But you know what? I'm Italian, so we like our women kind of thick. I'm already running over my time limit. Hey, there was an interesting story. They changed the name of the UK Daily Mail now to just basically, I think just the Daily Mail. Because this is posted on, this article was posted on the Huffington Post, but it's actually from the Daily Mail, because they don't call it UK anymore. I heard that's like a really good source. If you want like basic truth on stories, go to the Daily Mail and just basically don't go anywhere else. Just go to the Daily Mail. If you want the truth about a story, it was mentioned today on a talk show that I listened to, and they said, yeah, that's your reliable source. Anyway, it was this, I can't read the name, so I'm not gonna sabotage him. But basically, it was this woman. They minus her name. It was like in I was gonna say Russia, but I could be wrong. Moscow. Okay, 80 miles east of Moscow. It's basically was stating that this woman accused of hiring an undercover cop, she didn't know it was an undercover cop, to torture and kill a former student. And it's pretty graphical, too. The woman got obviously arrested because it says 80 miles from Moscow. Let's see, an undercover officer. She wanted to say a few words to the intended 50-year-old victim before he died. Yeah, she hired a hitman to torture, and basically it states break both his hands, both his legs, and even, I think, something like rupture his spleen or something like that. Because I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to sabotage it. But that's pretty crazy. That is really crazy, in fact. Yeah. So anyway, just look for an article. If you have any information, you actually listen. It basically just states Russian teacher filmed ordering to hit on a pupil who was. Oh, I didn't see that part. So I you know what? This is even more interesting because I watched the video. And this woman looked kind of hideous. But the Russian teacher filmed ordering hit on pupil who was ex-lover. So here's this woman. She's 52 years old, a 52-year-old music teacher, and she wanted to, I guess, she wanted to put a hit on this kid that was her ex-lover. She's 52. He was 15. Folks, come on. It says that she actually arranged to pay the officer, who she thought was a real hitman, 1,000 rubles, which equals $2,000. And folks, if you watch the video and actually read the article, yeah, she wanted every bone in his body broken. And you call that like, there's something that's not right about that. And it's worse in our country, I think. Not that these women put a hit on these kids they have sex with, but I wouldn't be surprised if that would ever happen around here. So anyway, I got to check my levels real quick. Okay, they're all over the place, but that's all right. Interesting story. This one kind of just made my skin crawl. It says semi-truck crash spills spectacular number of bees across the highway. So it was basically a truckload, boxes filled with bees. See, I'm allergic to bees. I used to have to get all these needles when I was a kid. I don't do it anymore. Of course, I'm not outside like I used to be. But yeah, it says semi-truck accident in Washington State has spilled a truly spectacular number of bee containers across the Interstate 5. And bees are on the loose. So, yeah. Basically, it states the truck was not hurt. Well, hopefully nobody else was hurt either. You know, because bees, and that amount for the size of a semi-truck, yeah, that could kill a couple. One bee would make me blow up like a balloon. So, it's happened in the past. So that's really dangerous. Anyway, there's another interesting story from the Huffington Post crime scene. It says Florida teacher busted selling acid pills to undercover cops and police say. So it goes on. Now get this, though, because I'm not going to read the whole article, but it says a third-grade teacher in Florida was arrested on Wednesday after she allegedly sold, it looks like Xanax, but I don't know, maybe I'm not pronouncing it right, which wouldn't be no shock, an acid to an undercover police officer. Now, this woman, she's 45. So, if you want to read it, again, I gave the name. I'll name it again. It's Florida teacher busted for selling acid pills to undercover cop, police say. That's the name of the article, by the way. Because right now, I think I'm like way over my time limit that I want. Yep, actually, yeah, I am. So anyway, two other stories, I think. This one I had to read. It was just like an irony type thing. It says, Hunter Ian Gibson trampled to death by an elephant he was tracking to kill for ivory. So, dude, that's karma. No offense. You're going to kill that freaking animal, that poor animal, for its tusk, its ivory tusk. You got what you got. You got what you deserved. Karma. Hello. A professional game hunter has been trampled to death by an elephant he was attempting to kill. It basically states Ian Gibson was leading a hunt, and I shouldn't even have read this far because I can't even read the name of the freaking place, but obviously it was probably in Africa. But yeah, there's not much more to the article. If you're interested, it is on the Huffington Post but yeah, the bottom line is, you know what, dude, you're killing an animal, a very intelligent animal by any means. So you got exactly what you got coming to you. So I have no sympathy for that guy. And I'm not an animal activist type person, but in that case, yeah, I am. Oh, this one was pretty funny. I'll leave it go at this because I kind of botched a lot of stories once again. So my last story for tonight was Tennessee developers pushing to open a swingers club as a church. So that was pretty funny. Yeah, so I had to throw this in the mix for the weekend. It looks like Madison, Tennessee, a group of Tennessee developers blocked from building a sex club next door to a Christian school has found a loophole allowing them to relabel the club as a church. So that was pretty funny. There's a little bit more to that article, not much. But again, I don't want to ruin anybody else's weekend. Mine was already destroyed from what I read at work. That one was actually posted yesterday at 12:16, so it was in the afternoon. And that was on Weird News on the Huffington Post. So, folks, you know what? I'll probably just sign off with that. Hope you enjoyed my show. I should be getting my new bumper soon. I'm crossing my fingers, and I'll be able to do a little bit more. I'm trying to get this show put together slowly but surely. I changed my main picture. It was from a short film I had done with a friend. He had asked me to act a part out. That's my new picture, though, by the way. That's like 20-some years old. But it was a film a friend did. His name was Matt Torrance. I actually have the short film on YouTube, and it's called Strange Worlds, or Strange World, I think. I think it's just called Strange World. Anyway, it's on my YouTube page, which is also Walter Interrante. Now, the name of the show is iWalter. But yeah, I took a still shot, and I'm basically I made that my new picture. Hope everybody enjoyed the show tonight, though, and you folks. I'll try to do some weekend shows. I might have actually a guest on, so that would be good. And I will sign in later on. Have a good night.